Okay, I think that Dr. Richey from Undisputable did a really good job in breaking down the discussion on the Dr. Phil show about reparations. And I do agree with him, but I think there was something missed in what Dr. Phil said. I am not a fan of Dr. Phil. I feel some type of way about him and, his relationship with his wife, which is odd. She seems odd. He seems odd. I don't know what it is about those two. There was a show where he did with a young man where he was joking about essay with a teacher, and just because she was a female teacher and I think he was around 17 or 18 at the time, tried to make that seem like, oh, guys will be guys. But if that had been a girl, it would have been a totally different story. So there's a bunch of stories about with him that I don't like. I agree with Dr. Phil on one thing, and it's a thought that I've always had, but it does not negate what Dr. Richey is saying. It is offensive for Dr. Phil and other people to sit up here and say, well, the blacks, if you give them that amount of money, they're going to be broke in no time. They're just going to spend it on frivolous things like Nikes and iPhones, and they're not really going to have anything to show for it. I think it's offensive to my intelligence, seeing how, I've worked in finance and I know how to do a budget, and there are some ideas to actually create wealth. I have that training, I have that education, and it's offensive to me and people like me and others who could use that money to pour more into their businesses if they have it, or to even create that business, or whatever they would like to do with it. Because in the end, it's their money. If they wanted to, get money out of the bank, get cash money in hand, and they wanted to put it on the sidewalk and set it on fire, they have every right to do that because it's theirs. You may think it's dumb. You would run up, just like I would run up, say, you know what, if you want to set it on fire, I'll take it off your hands. But I'm sorry, the person has the right to do what they want to do with. And who are you to tell somebody what to do with what's there? I mean, I've heard him get snippy on his show about people trying to dictate and tell. It said he's pointed to his name and said, this says Dr. Phil. I don't see your name up there. So yeah, these payments are the blacks' money. Who are you to tell black people that we're too ignorant, is what he was saying, to build generational wealth or think about that? There's certain groups of us that would piss it away. I know people who have come into money, not that much money, but it was a nice amount of money, and they pissed it away. And they said they've pissed it away. So that will happen. There's nothing you can do about that. Just like Donald Trump, he pissed it away. There's nothing you can do about it because it's theirs.
Yeah, I knew this would happen eventually. Dr. Phil says it would be an absolute disaster if you gave black people money for reparations. Here it is.
The first condition is that reparations should be paid to Black Americans whose ancestors were enslaved in the United States. And this would require an expenditure of $14 trillion, which would be distributed evenly across the 40 million Black American descendants of U.S. slavery. That would be approximately $350,000 per person.
If you take $350,000 or $840,000 and you write a check to any group of people, black, white, poor, homeless, whatever, you give any group of people that much money and say, there you go, best of luck, and you come back in 6 months, they're going to be broke. So whatever reparations are done, that would be an absolute disaster, as opposed to guidance and help in creating generational wealth as opposed to income. Right. That would be an absolute disaster.
Don't you dare allow this con artist to persuade you away from the real conversation. He is a con artist, in my humble opinion. Let me tell you why I think Phil cons people. He masquerades as if he is some kind of redeemer by exploiting the problems of everyday human beings and typically not providing the holistic support required to create a generational remedy for the dysfunction. Now, Dr. Phil decided to opine on reparations. He's factually incorrect on a few things. Number one, Doc, you owe your entire damn career to a black woman named Oprah.
I wanted to stop there because I am going to actually link his video in my video so you can watch the whole thing if you haven't seen it already. And I just wanted to say I 100% agree with Dr. Richey because they think that we can't think. It's crazy that we can't think responsibly, but yet we are in their homes taking care of their children, taking care of them in the hospital, and we are in their businesses, and we are the engine that usually makes it run because usually their people are over there bullshitting and not doing anything and extremely lazy. And we are usually the go-to people when they want to ask questions or get something done. So to think that we can't come together, like-minded people that want the best out of this situation, come together and formulate a plan that we are going to get money and we can create generational wealth. We can make the best possible decisions for ourselves and connect with people who want to do that is asinine. Because there have been many discussions about going to a certain town, buying the town, building homes, maybe making a Wall Street too, and, having certain standards for Black families and Black people, maybe uniting, being closer so we can benefit and create, a community and a closeness where it would benefit us. People have been having these conversations, and there are people who want that. And for Phil and the people who think like him to think that we would just get something and just piss it away, it is disrespectful. Because everybody else they've gotten reparations. And you see some people did good things with it and some people, may have not done good things with it. And there's other mitigating factors in that. The slave owners got reparations, indentured servants got reparations, the Jews got reparations. But for whatever reason, the melanin in our skin says they can't do anything with it. And I don't completely believe that because I think they know the more people who had access to resources and money, there would be more of an explosion of people creating businesses and it could possibly compete with theirs. That's the problem. Because you see how Black people will make something out of nothing. There is a whole YouTube Black media on here. Usually people are drifting into the Black section of social media. They cannot keep us out of their mouths and out of their brains. We live rent free. We trendsetters, even good and bad. The eyes are on Black people. And I think that is a fear for them as well, having to actually compete. But also knowing there is a group of people who want to work together and have that generational wealth. There are people who are not colorless who know this information and know how to execute. So that's the offensive part. But in the back of my mind, I think what it is the majority of everyone would not be on that same mindset. And there is a fear that I have, like if we did get it, how many people would just go start buying things like, name brand things, certain cars, how, Hollywood has influenced us so much, but you're going and you're buying this $200 shirt because it has Dior in the inside. How many people are going to do that? I did a video, which I can link it, of a man who won a certain amount of money from the lottery. And instead of doing something with that money, like he could have went and bought a truck with that money and he could have gotten a contract to shovel snow, put down salt, or he could have done so many different things, but he went and bought a chain and got his chain snatched. So it went up in smoke. There is an element in our community, and I think it's bigger than we know, that money would go up in smoke and they wouldn't know how it happened. That is truth. And I'm not taking up for Dr. Phil because he's right and he's wrong. He's wrong because there's been success when people are given what's due to them. But also we do understand there is a large element in our community that would piss it away. And I feel like that's why we haven't gotten it yet, is because We are not in the right mind frame. There is no unity. There is no real community. If you really get into it, we have lots of dysfunction in our families. We can't even unify with family members. So it will be a group of people who could, but not as many as it should be. Because in the end, to be honest, I would like all of us to win. I know people say you can't take everyone. I get it, but I want the majority of us to win. And I have to admit that I do think that there is an element within the community that would know what to do to create that. And that should be a part of the discussion. And that is the reason why we haven't gotten it yet, but we're close. I'll go ahead and leave it right here. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.